Fish Room Fanatics. Thought I'd bring you a quick video just to kind of show you what kind of goes into setting up a fish tank. The picture that you're looking at now is the 60 gallon that I got for Christmas from Jess. As you can see, it comes with a light. This was from one of the major retailers. They did a huge sale on them, and that only cost $200 for the stand, the tank, as well as the light setup. It did come with extra handles for the lid as well. I don't think that was supposed to be part of it, but I'll take it. Whatever you can get for free is usually a good thing. As you can see, it's a marine land. Everything's kind of set up in the back still. I didn't take anything down. It was just a clean picture. And it does have LED lights. They do work to grow plants, as you've seen in previous videos, and you'll see in this video as well. There are quite a few plants in the tank at the moment, and you'll see a finished product of it at the end, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But it's just a basic setup. It's 60 gallons. Like I said, it had the LED lights. It has glass tops. There is no canopy top for it. It's pretty straightforward, and there's really not a whole lot to it. As you can see in the picture that's coming up now, this is kind of what it looked like after we got everything somewhat established. There's no plants yet, but we did get the bubble stone in. There were 2 thermometers at the time. We took one out. When we set it up, I had one on each side to make sure that the temp was balanced. It is only a foot deep, so the water from the front to the back shouldn't vary that much. It can, considering it is by a window as well, but in reality, the only thing that's going to be affected by the light coming through that window, because it is pretty heavily curted, is some minor algae growth maybe. The fish do definitely benefit from having direct sunlight. It does help them color up and just feel better in general versus artificial light. It's not something you would normally recommend, is to put your tank in front of a window unless you do want to deal with an algae problem, because it does promote algae like crazy. So I figured with being heavily curtained, it wouldn't affect it too much, and it really hasn't, even to this day. The tank's been running since Christmas. That was not that long after I had gotten it, and we had picked up some gravel from somebody that I know and filled it up, put the bubble bar in, along with a Penguin 350 hang-on back filter. Hopefully want to switch over to sponge filters at some point in time, but for now, hang-on back filter was a pretty good deal. I didn't pay very much at all for it, so it works. And you'll see shortly here coming up now, this is what the tank actually looks like now, completed. This was taken probably a week before you see this video. There's only one thermometer left, and it's at the very front left corner of the tank, which is kind of away from the heat source, just to make sure that heat is getting over there. The heater is set up in the middle, as you can see there. We actually put a heater in there, but it was just kind of like step-by-step process as to what we did. You can see, again, if you've watched the previous video, you pretty much have a rundown of this tank already, but there are quite a few fake plants in there. As you can see on that silk plant, the bright green one, there is a little bit of algae that is going to get cleaned up. The filter is a little congested from moving things around recently and the leaves falling off. Most of that's from the Ludwigia. So there's hornwort, Ludwigia, cherry hedge, and there's another plant. I can never remember the name of it. I picked it up at a store because it was buy 2 get 1 free on plants, and that was my free one, so I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it. But the fake plants that are in there now are eventually going to be removed and replaced with live plants. That is the main goal. You can see that there's still some Serpae tetras in there, or red minors as they're commonly called now. There are some layer tail silver mollies in there as well. Initially we had 4. We had 2 females and 2 males. One of the females ended up getting sick. I'm almost positive she was sick from the very get-go. I mean, if we got her, set everything up, everything was good. The water parameters were good. As you can see, every other fish that we got is completely alive and doing completely well, but for whatever reason, that one she didn't make it. It was one of the females. We did, daily water changes in huge amounts for her. Put her into a well-established tank. We gave her medicine after having her quarantined for 2 weeks because she started to show some improvement with the water changes, and then it seemed like she was just taking another turn for the worse. We started to use some medicines on her, and it just, for whatever reason, didn't work out for her. So we did lose her. Initially in the tank setup, there were 6 guppies. We had 2 males, 4 females, pretty generic fancy guppies, sorted mix. We did do a red cobra male along with a blue and green grass guppy male. The females were, I mean, relatively generic. There were some cobras that are in there. We did have 6 initially. Those got moved over to the breeding for profit tank, which you see now. We did lose one of those females as well, because come to find out, we had purchased them from our local pet shop, and I'm hoping to bring you to do a tour of that as well eventually here in the near future. But we picked them up from there and found out that they had only been in the store for a day. What kills me is normally they're really good about marking down what fish they get in and putting a hold on them for at least a week to make sure that they're okay and that there's no issues. And every other fish that we've gotten from there has, I mean, thrived. Even, well, let me back up a little bit. We had purchased 3 of the females at the same time, and they were all the same kind of blue cobra style. And we found out they were only in the store for a day. No one had marked the tank, so we picked them up, and they did okay at first. They were in the 60-gallon tank here, and we eventually ended up moving them. But we did lose one of those females as well. And just from the stress of being grown into one tank, traveled, put into another tank, only there for a day, didn't really get a chance to, settle in and relax. Then stressed them out even more, bagging them up, chasing them with a net, traveling again and putting into another new tank. I mean, 3 tanks in 3 days for any fish is a lot. The 2 that did make it are absolute troopers. The one that didn't, sadly, it happens from time to time. And again, I don't want to hide anything from you guys, failures and accomplishments alike. So we did lose those 2 out of the initial batch, but we had 10 serpes, 6 guppies, 4 of the silver mollies, and then we also have 2 albino corridoras, which were really, really small when we got them. In the last month and a half, almost 2 months now, they've grown pretty well. They're still only about a half an inch long, but they will be getting much bigger. We've seen them at that same pet store quite large, so we're looking forward to that. And that pretty much sums up what's in the tank. We will have some updates coming to you pretty soon on the fish tank that was shown before. You can click on the video that's over here regarding our fish tank tour. We also hopefully will have a new fish room update coming pretty soon. We're planning on painting that and getting hopefully one of the stands built. But we are going back to the shrimp sidetrack. We are planning on getting some shrimp this weekend for sure, and getting them set up in their new home. So depending on whether or not we order them or if we purchase them, the pet shop that's down the road, either way we'll bring you an update on that as well, so you can see them all in their new environment. We're probably going to get between 15 and 20. We do want to start a colony of them to breed. Usually people tell you no less than 10. 15 to 20 is even better, but you never know when you buy juveniles, because they're still so small you can't really sex them accurately. And the more that you get, the better chance you're going to have of males and females coexisting in that same batch. So we're hopefully going to get 15 to 20 of them and put those into the shrimp tank, which is a 20-gallon long, as you'll see if you watch the video. And yeah, I think that's about it for updates. I just wanted to make sure that we got stuff covered out, and that's really about it, guys. But we did get everything situated like I was saying we were going to, and eventually we were going to have the shrimp tank going, which we will very, very soon. We will bring you an update on that when it happens and when we get the shrimp in, so make sure you stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. We are a newer channel. Every little bit helps. Definitely plan on bringing you daily content if I can, sometimes 2 or 3 videos a day if possible, depending on time restraints. But I'm going to try to put out as much content as I can, and hopefully it'll be good quality content for you guys. If you feel like I can improve on something, or if there's something that you do want to see, let us know down in the comments below, and we'll do our best to make sure we read them and respond to them and take your advice very seriously, as always, as we definitely want to provide the best content we can for you. If there's anything you do want to see, again, let us know. And as always, happy fish keeping.